On September 13, 1848, 25-year-old Phineas Gage was working on the construction of a railroad track in Vermont. An accidental explosion on the site sent a 3-foot iron rod through his head. The rod entered his left cheek. All 3 feet of the rod passed through the front of his brain like a bullet, broke through the top of his skull, and then landed point first 80 feet away. Amazingly, Gage survived and has become one of the most famous cases in the history of neuroscience and psychology. Gage recovered most of his physical strength, and his doctor, J.M. Harlow, claimed that Gage was just as intelligent after the accident as before. Nevertheless, the accident changed Gage's behavior and personality. Before the accident, Gage was a well-balanced, clever, and persistent man, but in Dr. Harlow's words, the injury left him fitful, irreverent, indulging at times in the grossest profanity, manifesting but little deference for his fellows, impatient of restraint or advice when it conflicts with his desires, at times pertinaciously obstinate, yet capricious and vacillating, devising many plans which are no sooner arranged than they are abandoned in turn for others appearing more feasible. The story doesn't end there. Unable to reclaim his work for the railroad, and having failed as a farmer, Gage eventually ended up working as a stagecoach driver in Chile. It seems that the highly regulated and disciplined life of a driver and the constant social interaction with customers helped Gage recover his earlier personality. Researchers call this social rehabilitation and point toward Phineas Gage as a beacon of hope for all who have suffered traumatic brain injuries. Phineas Gage's skull and the iron rod that passed through it are now on display at the Museum of the Harvard Medical School. Doctors still debate what exactly happened to him. Behind these debates are 2 questions. First, how do changes in the brain change our behavior? Second, can our environments help shape our brains and our behavior? We now know a lot more about brains than we did in the 1850s, and may be better able to explain the changes in Gage's behavior. The brain has many different systems, but we'll focus on 2. The limbic system is responsible for our impulses and our emotions. When you feel fear, excitement, a sense of belonging, the urge to accomplish something, or the satisfaction of a job well done, your limbic system is hard at work. Another area of the brain, the prefrontal cortex, which is located just above your eyebrows, solves problems, manages your behavior, and helps you decide how to handle social situations. Perhaps this helps us understand what happened to Phineas Gage. The iron bar damaged his prefrontal cortex, leaving it unable to regulate his limbic system. His emotions and impulses went unchecked. Over time, the repetitive tasks and social obligations required of stagecoach drivers seem to have helped heal Gage's prefrontal cortex and restore his sense of responsibility and self-control. Ready for a disturbing fact? The different parts of our brain grow at different times and at different rates. There is a point in normal human development when the growth of the limbic system outpaces the growth of the prefrontal cortex, making it hard to regulate our impulses. Can you guess when that happens? If you guessed adolescence, you're right. It's no surprise that teenagers have a harder time controlling their impulses. Their brains aren't wired for it. The good news of social rehabilitation, though, is that we can help ourselves. We can't always count on our own prefrontal cortexes to automatically temper our impulses, but we can give them a boost by bringing a little more structure and accountability into our lives. And that's what we're going to work on in this character forum.